Welcome back to Believe It or Not, the series where I watch Naruto episodes and then complain about them on the internet for your enjoyment. It's been a little bit since our last episode, so we will do a little recap to explain what just happened. When last we watched, a bunch of children continued fighting each other, boy versus dog, cousin versus cousin, and most importantly, Rock Lee versus Gaara. Dreams, as well as splendid ninjas, were crushed, all in a desperate attempt to pass the Chunin exams. Now the cream of the crop must head out and learn some new moves to impress their ninja peers. In today's episode, we will be reviewing episodes 52 through 61 of Naruto. Episode 52, Ebisu returns, Naruto's toughest training yet. We start off following the cliffhanger from our last episode. Naruto is going to be going off with Ebisu, otherwise known as Konohamaru's handler. This dude's a perv. Naruto points that out immediately. He's like, no hesitation. That man is a pervert. I do not want him. But he does some like Mr. Miyagi-esque shit in that he tells Naruto, okay, yeah, go hide. We'll play a little game of ninja hide and go seek. You run away from me and I'm gonna hunt you down and we'll see if you are worthy of getting another trainer. And sure enough, this helps kind of enforce some of those fundamentals that Naruto needs to learn. Cut to the hot springs later on where Naruto gets to learn a little bit of Jesus no Jutsu, how to walk on water, focus that chakra into the bottom of his feet. And I mean, it's a useful skill. Honestly, it feels like a ninja could probably, use that to their advantage, so pretty good. And then after all the running around from Ebisu, we find out that there is a bigger perv in the vicinity. There is a man named Jiraiya. Overall, I kind of like this episode. It was simple, lighthearted, and goofy, though it very clearly illustrates that we are onto bigger and better things now that Jiraiya is here. Overall, 6 out of 10. Episode 53, Long Time No See, Jiraiya Returns. This is this is a pervert. This is a man who wrote the smut that Kakashi loves so much, and he is a thirsty dude. I cannot emphasize that point enough about him. I have some mixed feelings about Jiraiya. Most of this episode is really just Naruto chasing after Jiraiya, trying to be like, hey, teach me how to do cool stuff. You're a sage. You're a cool ninja. Maybe you could teach me some moves. I mean, you killed my old dude, so can I have you? Can you do something for me, sir? Sir! A lot of close calls in this one. A lot of deeply troubling material. Jiraiya is deeply tempted by Naruto's sexy jutsu, which is troubling. There's another line after that about Naruto's tight, sexy body.
You have quite a tight, sexy little body.
He's a boy, Jiraiya. He's a little boy. I don't feel comfortable. I need an adult. I guess there was a seal placed on Naruto at some point. I forgot. Apparently there was another additional seal that was placed on his nine-tailed fox seal, and that's why his chakra control has been so dog shit recently. But whatever. I guess that happened. Anyway, the seal is off, and so now Naruto is going to be better at being a ninja, which feels like a bit of an ass pull, but hey, if it works, it works. And also good about Jiraiya is that he is a toad sage. He is a man who is quite familiar with the frogs, and I appreciate that about him. All in all, it was a funny episode. There's some fun moments, but I'm really on the fence about Jiraiya. I think that he's well voice acted and he's got a lot of charisma, but also Jesus Christ with the perv stuff. All in all, 7 out of 10. Episode 54, The Summoning Jutsu, Wisdom of the Toad Sage. We had a new episode in this one. It was good. It was, the visuals were very good. Visuals, I think, are better than the song. The song's not terrible, so it was a good opening. Oh yeah, start of this episode, we say fuck it, forget about what's happening with Naruto for a bit. We're gonna go check out what the Sand Ninjas are up to. Sound Ninjas and the Sand Ninjas, we're gonna work together. We hate the Leaf Ninjas now. We hate the Leaf Village. Fuck those guys. Gaara's being a little freak. Apparently he's especially a bit freaky under the full moon, so that'll come back later, surely. And it's really just building up to, okay, I'm going to teach you a new jutsu. We get like this whole bit where Naruto fights himself to get rid of all of his chakra so that he can only have that nine-tailed fox chakra inside of him so he can do a lot better, cooler things. It's like the epitome of just filler. We're just trying to pad for time because we didn't have a whole lot going on in this one and we needed to make this episode longer. So that's what it feels like, but it is still totally awesome. All in all, this episode was, kind of mid. Technically, Naruto did learn a new technique, which is progress, but it was like pushed right to the very end of the episode, so it feels, a little bit disappointing to see so much other filler stuff. But there is some potential ninja politics happening too, so that's interesting. I'm actually starting to be invested in that part of the show. But yeah, 5 out of 10. Episode 55, A Feeling of Yearning, A Flower Full of Hope. So this is sort of a cutaway from all of the Naruto stuff, and we go back and we see what everybody else has been doing. More specifically, there's another member of Team 7. Hey, do you remember Sakura? Do you remember her? Wonder what she's up to. Well, she's, going to the hospital to visit Sasuke. But Sasuke isn't there. Sasuke ran away. He is a tricky ninja, that guy. And Rock Lee also kinda tricky in his own way. I gotta give my props to Rock Lee. He's on screen. We celebrate that splendid ninja anytime he shows up. Really does not want to admit defeat here, and I think that is perfectly fine for him. He has developed this whole personality built around pushing himself to the very limit that his body has, and I am still worried about him. I'm worried about his mental state. I'm worried about his physical state. I'm worried that he is just going to collapse. I think he needs to maybe sit down for a bit, but hey, I guess this is physio. Sakura and Ino kind of getting along now. They're doing like some flower stuff, talking about flower language. Not a whole lot to say overall in the recap. Sakura is still madly in love with Sasuke for reasons no one will ever understand. Everyone is also training hard, including Rock Lee, who absolutely can be a ninja again. I have faith. 5 out of 10. Episode 56, Live or Die, Risk It All to Win It All. This episode starts the exact same way that every single episode has started for the past 3. Jiraiya is looking through the bushes at a bunch of girls swimming around by a pond. It's the exact same opening 3 times in a row, or at least the exact same scene 3 times in a row, and it is, I can't tell if I love it or I hate it. It's at this point it's just stupid. But we are seeing that Naruto is improving his frog summoning. He isn't just a shithead who can summon a tadpole. Now he's starting to get a little bit of frogs. Yeah, now we need to actually, push Naruto to that limit. And so Jiraiya takes Naruto on like this whole day out of town. He treats him to good food. He takes him to the bathhouse. He tries to see if he can get Sakura to give Naruto a big hug.
Because you're going to give her a big hug!
All things Naruto would love to do before he dies, because I guess that's the expectation. And then he knocks Naruto out, carries him away, and then throws him into a pit. But this is a cool moment because, Naruto, he's put in a life or death situation. Now it's time to unlock some of that nine-tailed fox bullshit. And we get sucked into this brain space where the big beastie has been locked away in a cage. It's very cool. I love brain spaces like this. I love that kind of shit. And I think that it is interesting visual metaphor, and it's cool, to see Naruto starting to kind of barter, or at least discuss things with the big monster that lives inside of him. That is growth. So this episode starts off slow, but it has a fucking strong end. Love the pit, love all of this. It was actually a very cool episode. 8 out of 10. Episode 57, he flies, he jumps, he lurks. Chief Toad appears. Naruto finally figures out the summoning jutsu, and he summons a big fucking toad. Specifically, I guess, a famous toad, Chief Toad, Gargamel, Gambagu, Jamba Juice. Gone butt. It's a big toad, and Naruto basically has to kind of prove himself to the big frog, say, hey, I'm a cool guy, I could actually summon you. Most of the episode is just Naruto kind of riding around on this giant toad, trying to stay on his back to prove a point, but we do cut away for a little bit and we talk about the Sand Ninjas. Get a little bit of backstory and what they're doing there. I mean, we know that the Sand Ninjas are trying to do some sort of weird coup d'etat in the village hidden in the leaf, or some sort of big military play. But I think it's interesting that at this point in the game, we're really digging into the idea that all of these ninja villages are just giant military compounds. I mean, they exist for the sake of raising ninjas for battle or espionage. And, if there's no conflict, there's no reason for the ninjas. So, they're only ever being funded on account of, some war or some sort of conflict in the world. And it has just created this fucking, pit of vitriol and all of these different little offshoot villages that aren't, the village hidden in the leaf. It's just interesting. I'm starting to become invested in ninja politics. Naruto over here has fun and proves himself to a big frog. And I think that is probably the highest honor you could achieve. Frog love. 5 out of 10. Episode 58, Hospital Besieged, The Evil Hand Revealed. Ruh-roh, Gaara got out. he's loose, and it seems like he's got some sort of vendetta for Rock Lee because I guess he has childhood trauma or something. I mean, we get a little something here that I hope is explored a little bit more, but I really do truly enjoy Shikamaru and Naruto's interactions. I like their dynamic. I think it's fun. But yeah, basically Gaara sneaks into the hospital and he tries to kill Rock Lee because he's got some issues of his own and he can't quite handle all that's been going on. But Naruto and Shikamaru show up. They try to stop him. It mostly just revolves into Gaara explaining his backstory. He also has a demon inside of him, killed his mom, but it seems to be more a situation where he was like created specifically that way to be a weapon, as opposed to Naruto being turned into like a prison for a monster that would have otherwise destroyed the village. Equal, but opposite, and also Gaara has become a total psychopath as a result of the way that he is treated. From a very young age, he decides that the only reason for living is to kill, and so that is the reason he is so deeply unhinged. But Naruto is such an empathetic boy that he sees through all of that, and he says, you know what? There's good under there. He's just like me. I can save him. Kind of. Gaara has a demon inside of him, and there's nobody to support him, so he's psychopathic. Shit kinda sucks. Not a whole lot happens beyond that, so 4 out of 10. Episode 59. The final rounds. Rush to the battle arena. This is just getting to the arena for the final rounds of the Chunin exams, proper tournament arc stuff. It starts off very sweet, because Naruto has this very pleasant, short interaction with the people who run the ramen stand he goes to, and I like that. I like that these are actual characters now. Considering Naruto goes to this fucking stand so often, it's nice that, you know, these aren't just faceless individuals, these are people, and they actually kind of care about Naruto. Yeah, we know that Naruto is then going to be going up against Neji first in the tournament. That's the big first conflict that we're building up to. There's like a cute little Hinata Naruto moment at like the midpoint of this episode, and it's alright. I don't really care too much. And then Konohamaru says a bunch of dumb shit and causes a bunch of conflict because I guess, you know, that's what Konohamaru does. This one's, you know, this one's mostly just an episode. This is like, feels like a lot of filler in here, but whatever, that's Naruto. 3 out of 10. Episode 60, Byakugan versus Shadow Clone Jutsu. Start the episode off sort of establishing that we are missing a few of our ninjas, one of the sound ninjas, for instance, and also Sasuke, who has been dead for 9 slutty episodes. Very good. He's just been off-screen training with Kakashi. I legitimately forgot that that was something that was established earlier. There's a little clip of Kakashi trying to climb a mountain one-handed, and then Sasuke's there, and I just forgot about that, so whatever. But yeah, he's been doing some training on the side, and that's why he isn't here for some reason. I'm sure he's gonna show up at some point, because that's what Sasuke does. It's a show about him. Beyond that, though, Sakura and Ino are up in the stands, and they're getting along, which is something I really like to see. I'm glad that the girls aren't fighting all the time. I mean, you know, there's still some petty shit there. It feels like Ino is just kind of like passive aggressive sometimes because that's just who she is. But it seems like for the most part, these two are actually like friendly, which is really, really nice. And yeah, we get into the first match here a little bit. Naruto, I mean, I feel like Naruto has gotten better at fighting, but that might just be my memory. I don't remember the fight against Dog Boy, so maybe there is improvement, maybe there isn't. I don't know. We get a little bit of fighting with Naruto. He uses some of his shadow clones, but it sort of cuts off before things get really good. It's, you know, it's a good start, but it is just that. It is the start of this fight. 6 out of 10. Episode 61, Ultimate Defense, Zero Blind Spot. Starts off strong with some clever fighting from Naruto. He's using his shadow clones strategically, which I appreciate, but Neji also has a lot of shit to pull out and surprise Naruto with. Some like rotation stuff. His Byakugan is stronger, more potent, I guess, and he does some really cool pressure point moves, some real Fist of the North Star shit. Good fighting, very interesting, visually interesting fighting, but then we cut to some Hyuga lore because there is a lot about this clan that hasn't truly been established yet, and this one was actually surprisingly interesting. It seems with these two branches, the main branch, they are treated as like the important ones, and then the side branch, the one run by the twin brother, you know, they're all the losers, they're the outcasts. They are specifically there to help protect the main branch, ensure that no other ninjas get in there, and try to learn their secret jutsus. That's the whole point. This off branch is just there to protect the secret special jutsus and to help really ensure that the word doesn't get around. They've also all been marked with a special curse where, you know, if any of the main branch Hyugas decide, they could just melt a side branch brain, you know? They all got a little X on their head that basically says you are marked for death if you do anything wrong. It's fucked up. It's not great, and I can kind of understand why Neji is like that. It's unfortunate, but it's all just playing into some of the other stuff we've learned about ninja military society. Shit is not good. Everybody has kind of been living a certain way for a certain amount of time, and they've all become complacent in this just messy system. I think it's interesting. Yep, this was the good stuff. This had the most memorable bits from the fight so far, so it's, you know, it's earned some respect. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Overall impression. So, though the ratings were kind of mixed throughout this batch of episodes, I kind of feel like we're making progress here. It feels like Naruto has actually come a decent distance from the beginning of the series. He's learning about the beast inside of him. He's actually becoming more of a capable ninja. The side characters in this world are starting to be established, getting some lore there. And it feels like we're building up to an actual big main conflict. It feels like we're going to kind of separate from the more established ninja stuff soon. And I think that is interesting. So I want to continue to see how this goes. I want Naruto to just keep it up. But the actual average rating for this batch of episodes was a 5.7 out of 10. So that is all for this episode of Believe It or Not. Hopefully I will be able to get another one out a bit sooner. Thank you for watching. If you did, thank you for getting to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If there's anything else that you would like to add or criticize about my ratings, I guess, hey, if you thought these episodes deserved a better rating, tell me down in the comments. You know, I'm more than happy to discuss that with you. Anyways, thank you for watching, and don't forget, believe it, right? That's how I end this series? Fuck, it's been so long. Bye.